history was not my forte. So, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and then how you should properly taste a beer?
Sure. So, one of the programs that I implemented when I got here was a sensory program. And that's basically, it's a weekly, actually now we're doing it twice a week. It's a weekly time where I put out beer for the staff to taste and assess. And, but intermittently also do training sessions on how to taste beer and things to look for in beer that are particular qualities. Some of them are good qualities, and then some of them are off flavors. The off flavors are, a couple of them are really important to our process. One of them in particular is called diacetyl, which is a compound that is produced by yeast naturally, but it in high levels it smells and tastes like fake, like buttered popcorn.
Ooh.
And so we don't want that in any of our beers. And so we learn how to assess the beer for that flavor to make sure that our beer is free of it. Another one that I think is really interesting, you mentioned that these things are produced by yeast, and a lot of them are, but there are also some off flavors produced by the malt in the malting process. There's one called dimethyl sulfide that is pretty much it's the flavor produced when corn germinates. So it smells and tastes like corn, but it's also the flavor produced when barley germinates. So that can sometimes make it into beer, but ideally you have a good boil will drive off that flavor, and also if you have highly kilned malts, the ones that are darker, that heat will drive off that flavor. So it's actually, if you, next time you're having like a macro lager, not that it's bad, it's really not, but there is a little bit of that sulfur flavor in there. And
it's been a while since I've had a macro lager.
It's really, I find it interesting to taste those beers, actually, because honestly, I think they're made with incredible skill and specificity, and the fact that you can be in any part of the country and have a Bud Light and have it taste exactly the same is really impressive.
That is impressive.
I've been to the brewery in Merrimack twice, and it's one of 10 breweries, Anheuser-Busch breweries, and it's so cool walking into the lab and seeing what they're doing in there. And, like, we don't want to make that style of beer, but we do strive to make the best beer that we can.
Consistent,
and so, right? And consistent beer.
And that is true. Like, thinking about all the macros, they are extraordinarily consistent.
Right.
And the fact that they come from, so you said Anheuser-Busch had 10. The fact that they come from 10 different places and they are all exactly the same is pretty amazing no matter how you look at it.
Right. It's unfortunate that all of that work goes into beer that I don't particularly want to drink, but
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
That is true.
Now, I do enjoy on a humid day playing wiffle ball something very watery. So every once in a while.
Water.
Yeah. Water with a kick. Like,
right.
Only a slight one. But
which is a nice thing about the Goza and the Mida.
Yeah, Goza.
Yes.
They
or
are
Mida.
very low alcohol, so it's mostly water.
Yeah. I could see playing wiffle ball with a Goza, as first base. Like, that would be great. A Mida as second. What are we going to put on third?
No, I could just put them back and forth.
Just Goza, Mida, Goza, Mida.
I don't need any more people in the party.
Beyond that, for tasting beer, I think what we've seen today, and a fun thing to do as you taste beer is to learn different styles and also different ingredients that you enjoy or you enjoy less. Like a friend of mine recently discovered this one hop that she's just so in love with, and now whenever she sees a beer menu, if that hop is on there, that's the beer she orders, and she's generally really happy with it.
Yeah.
And people find that with sour beers.
Yeah.
They find it with like different styles. They like stouts or they hate stouts, things like that. But I do think that it's important not to, decide forever you'll never like any one type of beer. I think it's nice to keep trying because who knows?
Because you're surprised. Yeah. Pleasantly.
Yeah. So looking online how to taste beer, there's a few different things that pop up. For example, you need to look, agitate, smell, and taste, or you need to look at the appearance, the smell, the taste, the mouthfeel, and the overall. I know that's about judging beer. But when you are just a bunch of people sitting around, really trying to enjoy some beer, do you think that any of that's necessary, or?
Yeah, it's not necessary, but speaking from someone that really loves beer, I still taste beer like that critically, and I like the process of you get a beer, you obviously look at it first, and I don't care if my beer is clear or a little bit hazy. Some people do. But then, the aroma, if I'm having a hoppy beer, they put a lot of effort into putting that aroma in there, so I think it's worth it to smell it. And then the swirling, it does actually release a lot of different aromas, in particular as beer is served a lot colder than room temperature, so as your beer sits and warms up, you're going to get some different aromas out of that, so it's kind of cool to assess that and as you drink it. It's kind of habit for me now. I don't even really realize I'm doing it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking out a really well-made beverage.
Absolutely.
And, not at all.
Getting the most out of it.
And understanding it a bit more.
Mm-hmm. You spoke about people that want to have their beer really clear. If that is the case, they are missing out on this goza, because it is not even remotely clear, but...
And different... So the 4 main ingredients of beer, are barley, hops, water, and yeast. But goza has a lot of wheat in it, wheat malt, so that's going to give it a lot of that haze. A lot of rye beers have some haze to them because there's a similar molecule in the rye that creates that. And yeah, I think in particular with small craft breweries, they either don't want to or haven't quite figured out how to make really clear beer, and I don't think that's a reason to judge them negatively.
No, I agree.
Oh, yes, we have a whole spectrum here of... You can read through it, not like clear, but like in a golden color. You can definitely see what's behind it to the goza that you cannot see through it at all. Mm-hmm. But it's so light. It's something like that you expect when you can't see through it. When I think about a beer I can't see through, it's always like a stout. So It's just really interesting to me, and I heart your goza.
Yay.
Yeah, I really, really am excited.
So
to drink more of it.
Yeah, to drink more and more and more. And where can I get... so the next thing that we're going to look at, I think Jane's going to handle.
So we think it's fun to ask people about their first beer memory.
And I think mine must be probably when I was 6 or 7. My dad was a big fan of McEwen's Scotch Ale, which was... Now that I'm a knowledgeable beer drinker, I never see it around. And I sort of pay attention. I'm not sure if it still exists or if they still import it to the U.S. But I remember taking a sip of it and being disgusted. At 6 years old, though. So I would love to try it again and see how it actually is. I remember it just being so bitter. And I remember thinking that anybody who drinks beer is faking it.
They can't possibly like that flavor.
Even into college, actually, when I first started actually drinking beer with friends, I didn't really like it, and then I don't really know how that switched, but it did.
Fortunately, it did.
Yeah.
How did you make the... I'm guessing you didn't go to college chemistry, environmental chemistry or chemistry, whichever way it is. But I'm guessing you didn't go saying, I'm going to work in the beer industry.
No, I had no idea. And then, like I said, I started liking beer, and I lived in Maine, so there was a lot of good beer around. And the more I tried it, there was one day, actually, where I just decided, I realized that's what I wanted to do, was work in the beer industry. And I think I was 19, so...
I can't officially drink,
but I will.
But I want to work in it. Yeah, I completely get that. I love looking at how beer, like I said earlier, I geek out about beer. So we're actually moving on to our very last round here with you, and it's one that we lovingly refer to as 3 sheets to the wind, 3 random questions.
Okay.
So the first question we have for you in this round, think back. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
All of the ones on Nickelodeon when I was a kid were great. It was All Real Monsters. I don't know if you knew that one.
Yeah, there was like a purple guy with like an eye or something, right?
He held his eyes in his hands. And Hey Arnold was great. Rocco's Modern Life was pivotal.
Jane has some YouTubing to do because she has no idea what you're talking about.
I'm feeling a little older than you at the moment.
Even watching them as an adult actually is fascinating because they're very weird, and I think they're like they let kids know that it's okay to be weird.
Oh.
And I really like that.
I would have liked that as a kid.
Yeah, I like
A
that.
cartoon that let
I was
you
a
know.
little too old or too young for Ren and Stimpy, but I remember being kind of scared by it.
Yes, I was a little scared by it, and I was a little older than you. Yeah, I get that one.
Yeah, I had a pretty strong reaction, but it wasn't fear.
Moving on. Is there a song that you currently have stuck in your head?
No. I'm kind of the self-appointed DJ here, so it is pretty nice whenever I do get a song stuck in my head. I just run into the computer and put it on, but nothing at the moment.
So if you were going to put on a song right now for the end and the cleaning up of the canning, what song would you put on?
I would put on a Kesha song.
I
love playing pop music here for all the boys.
How do they like that?
That's great.
They don't.
They don't.
Nobody busts the move.
Although, no, they do. I think they secretly like it, but they'll never admit it.
Right.
We should try out this theory. So just like leave, put on some Kesha, and just like film it. See if there's anybody starts dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know. How
Hidden
it goes.
camera.
Yeah, hidden camera. Okay, the last question we have for you is, what is the best food you have eaten this week?
I have a CSA, a community supported agriculture share, from this farm that my older sister's best friend from childhood is working on down in Scarborough. And this is the 3rd week, and all the vegetables are just unbelievably fresh and just green. And the radishes might be the best food actually that I've eaten. They're so spicy.
I love spicy radishes.
Yeah.
And now, do you just eat into the radishes raw, or do you do something with them?
I've been making salads and putting those in, but also just eating them like apples.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yeah, I love CSAs. I did one last year too, and I love like going to the farm to pick them up. It's kind of actually just similar to how I love local beer. Just being in Maine and being so fortunate to have this amazing beer, this amazing food, amazing seafood. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Maine really has this amazing local scene, and I think we're very fortunate to be here and be part of it, and we're very fortunate that everybody's so kind and willing to sit down with a bunch of new podcasters, and
absolutely,
we just want to say that we really appreciate your time.
Beer.
Yeah, great beer. It's just a job perk, really. It's an amazing job perk. But thank you so much
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
for taking
Definitely.
the time to sit down with us. It's been
Thank you.
Thanks
Great.
for coming. I'm glad you like the beer.
We love it.
we do.